Hey there, it's Brian here, and in the next few minutes I just want to share with you some notes from a coaching call that I had this morning with one of my clients, a sales manager who has somebody on his team who is underperforming, who has actually now missed target over a couple of quarters, so they realize it's a problem now, it's not going to go away, and want some help in turning that individual around. And I just thought I'd share a few things, maybe 2 or 3 things from the conversation we had today, that if you find yourself in that situation, you might find useful and will help you. Now, one of the first things that we talked about, which kind of came out from the conversation without giving you all the background, is that your doubt will become their doubt. Right? And this is a phrase I use all the time. You know how animals can smell fear? Literally, how apparently they can smell the biological and chemical change in your body. Well, I think individual contributors can be a little bit like that as well. They can just sense if you lack perhaps confidence or conviction in what you're doing, or whether you truly believe that they are savable. And if obviously they don't believe they're savable because you don't, or at least that's what their perception might be, then obviously that's just going to knock their confidence, and they're maybe not even going to try and turn around. They might just start looking somewhere else. So that's the first thing. You've got to have confidence in what you're doing. And one of the easiest way to do that is just have a clear plan or process to share with them. Show them the roadmap, the steps that you're going to take them through, so they understand where they are and where they're going. And that understanding that just gives them confidence that, one, you know what you're doing, but 2, there is actually a hope, so to speak. You know, we all say in sales, don't we? Hope is not a strategy. So, you know, but we do have to give them hope and belief, maybe a better word, that there is actually light at the end of the tunnel. So that's one of the first things, just have a clear process. This is one of the reasons I created the Rep Rescue Playbook, was to create a step-by-step process that sales managers could use and can use to help turn somebody around, a process that is proven. But part of the benefit of that is being able to show and articulate to the individual contributor what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it works. And I said that builds their confidence, mitigate some of the doubt they may have in your ability to help them. And I'm not talking about a PIP either here. You know, you unfortunately, today people just joke, don't they, about PIPs being an exit plan, so performance improvement plan. It's an exit plan. All you're doing is looking for evidence to support getting me out of the business. So we've got to be very careful. We don't want it to be that. It's got to be seen as something that's genuinely looking to help them there and improve their performance. The second thing I wanted to just touch on here from these notes is kind of clarity. Don't try and boil the ocean. When you're evaluating, so the first phase of the Rep Rescue Playbook is what we call repair. That's the first pillar. It's like, what do we need to fix? What needs repairing? And we go through a 6-part process to do that. But when I say what's broken, we need to really break that down. So if you felt that somebody was poor at prospecting, you can't just say we need to get better at prospecting. It's too vague. We need to break that down into its component parts. Is it who they're reaching out to? Is it how they're reaching out to them? Is it what they're saying? Is it how often they follow up? You know, there's so many elements to that. Or if somebody's demo skills, I don't know, or presentation skills are broken in some way, and they're not converting people from a demo perhaps into the next phase of your sales cycle. Well, what within the demo? You can't just say, oh, you need to get better at doing demos. Try and break that down into its component parts. Is it the body language? Is it the way they present themselves? You know, the language or something that they use? Is it the modalities that they use? Is it all slideware and it's a bit boring? Is it the content of the presentation or demo that's missing somehow? Because we need to break it down into smaller parts. Because if it's too big, it becomes overwhelming for the individual. Their belief, again, is knocked. They have doubt that perhaps they can't actually recover from this. When you break it down into smaller pieces, they're easier to fix. So another one of my favorite quotes is that complexity is the enemy of execution. So let's make it simple. And that brings us on to kind of the third thing, really, is that when you have smaller things to fix, you get fixes, which gives you wins, and you can celebrate those wins. And that's something else. I have a technique that I suggest people use, which is called the mindset primer. So on a daily basis, or as necessary, I mean, as you go through the process, you may not have to do it as often, but especially in the beginning, to give somebody confidence, on a daily basis, just celebrate something that they've done successfully in the last day or two. Maybe they made a number of calls as part of that prospecting recovery plan, and they hit their goal. Well, celebrate that. Well done. And if you do that at the beginning of the day, as I said, it kind of primes their mindset for success. They go, yeah, actually, if I did that yesterday, I can do more today. So it just builds their confidence. And it's these things that will give them more confidence in you and what you're doing with them, the fact that it works. And the other thing about doing small things, just one last thing before we wrap up here, is that they're achievable. You know, you can get quicker wins than trying to do something too generic. And you can lock in those behaviors then much faster. And that is an important part of the Rep Rescue playbook. We talk about reinforcement. You've got to lock in those behaviors. It's very easy for somebody to kind of start to improve what they're doing, but when you take your eye off the ball and maybe a little bit of pressure comes back on them, they start to revert to type and nothing's changed. So if they're smaller incremental elements, you can really drill those and see sustainable change, and then you can just build on those, and they compound to create a much faster result for you. Because there's nothing worse than trying to actually exit somebody from the business. It's slow and costly as well, and if you can turn them around in a matter of weeks sometimes and start to see an improvement in performance, everybody wins and everybody gets excited again and confidence builds and everybody starts to enjoy the job, and morale of the whole team sometimes can then improve as well. So there's so many benefits of this. So just a few things to think about there. As I said, if you are working with struggling reps and want to help them get back into performing at a much higher level, then consider those. So I hope you found that useful. As I said, it's just I had this call this morning and I thought I'd just kind of share, as I said, some of the things that we discussed, because if you find yourself in that situation as well, you hopefully will find them useful. So I'd love to hear from you. Please leave any comments. Feel free to kind of share and like this video as well if you found it useful. And if you want any more details about the Rep Rescue playbook, then just comment or reach out to me. I'll be happy to send you some more information. Or just go to represcue.co.uk. You'll find all the details there. And I look forward to seeing you again in another one of these videos. Until then, stay safe, but success in your job going forward, and I hope you have a great week ahead. I'm Brian Conway. Bye-bye.